Yep, there we go. Mic check complete. Now then, as I was about to, let me see if I can do it from here. Can I do it from this interface? It seems so. Let me just quickly pop open a channel on the browser, and we'll be able to continue from that point on. From that point on. Now silence me. Me is talking. Or was it? There we go. Everyone, congratulations to my first official moderator on this channel. A round of applause to New Around. I am honored by his presence. Always will be. There are times, of course, when I doubt myself and wondering if it's all worth it in the end, but that's a discussion for another time. Honestly, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Any and all talk about the future or any thoughts about future plans, they honestly terrify me, like legitimately terrify me. I know this comes out of nowhere, but sometimes it just happens. However, now is not the time to surrender to the despair spiral. Otherwise, this will not be an enjoyable experience for everyone involved. Let's get this game started anyway. Where are you going? You're supposed to be standing upright, like so. Not falling on my devices. Because one time you did fall microphone, you chipped the protective screen on my phone, and that was no good of you. Very no good. But hey, you continue serving me like that, without fault, or at least with minimal fault, and I'll forgive that. Deal? Deal. Now, let's get back to it. Quick reminder as to where we stopped from the last week. We helped First we helped Iger with resolving her little problem with an old acquaintance, let's put it that way, and we learned that he's working for some very, very bad people called Winter Knight. And then we also went and helped Blitz with his personal quest, and helped him with wiping away his debt. Achieved to protect the screen the same way. Many such cases, it would appear. It's always the first loading screen that is the longest. However, now that we're back at it, we should be able to take the U-Bahn to ATS Technologies Berlin compound and finally get us the money needed to keep on, to finally fill up the Alice Fund. Let's see if Blitz has anything new to say before that. Oh, hey Chief, you're back, and you've got the box, right? He takes an eager step toward you, his hand extended. Give it here, if you please. Here's your mystery box, Blitz. Enjoy. Alright, thanks, Chief. Blitz turns the box over and over in his hands, a huge grin on his face. Let's plug this puppy in and see what it does. With a series of deft motions, Blitz pops the plastic cover on an unused expansion slot in his cyberdeck and slides the mystery box home. A recessed LED light in the box goes from red to green. He boots up the deck, staring at the code that scrolls across its integrated display. Well, this is weird. The data hard-coded onto this thing is jam-packed with comlink software. It looks like it has protocols for all of the major brands. Sysadmin level tools too. And there's something else. What do you see, Blitz? This thing is like a master key for communication systems. With this box plugged into my deck, I could hack the comlink of just about anyone in the same room as me. How is that useful? Use your imagination, Chief. Just about every security goon in Berlin is wired to a comm system of some kind or another. If I can hijack those comms, then I can cause all sorts of confusion in the ranks of on our runs. This is one hell of a toy. I can see why Grinder wanted it. Well, I can't wait to see what you can do with it. Yeah, Chief. Me neither. So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or can I start playing around with this thing? The vault door. The one that you forgot to account for. Was there really an accident? His mouth drops open. Of course it was, Chief. I'm shocked that you'd even ask. What do you think, that I'd purposely strand you in a bank vault? I mean, what kind of asshole would I have to be to do that? If that wasn't a part of your plan, then it was an oversight of epic proportions. You can see how that isn't much better now, right? Oh, come on, Chief, like you've never made a mistake. Look, you can lambaste me all you like. Aside from that one little detail, the plan was perfect. I'm proud of my performance in there. Alright, Blitz, I'm satisfied. Can we talk about something else? Sure, Chief. What do you want to talk about? How's the Emily's thing going? Any luck with the search? Yeah, actually. I've made some headway. For the first time in a year, I've got a solid lead. I thought I'd looked everywhere. Between my contacts and myself, we scoured all of M's old haunts, both in Meatspace and in the Matrix. But what I never thought to do was dig for clues in my own cyberdeck. It seems so obvious now, but back then I couldn't see it. I mean, she was running from me, right? So why would she leave any breadcrumbs for me to find? Anyway, I did some housekeeping and I discovered something. On the morning that Emily disappeared, some information vanished from my cyberdeck as well. She did a good job of covering her tracks, but I can see the signs. She grabbed that file and ran. End of story. What kind of data are we talking about? No idea, Chief. I grabbed it on a lark when me and Emily were goofing around in the Matrix. The file was encrypted all to hell and I never could get it open. I only took the damn thing because she told me not to. She said that security would be too tight, that I'd get myself killed. But I waltzed in on there and took it all the same. You should have seen me, Chief. It was a thing of beauty. I don't think I've ever seen as much of an A game. I don't think I've ever been as much on my A game as I was that day. Let's... Where did you take this data from? A corporate database. You know, no big deal. Tell me which corporation, Blitz? Oh, you know, not important. Blitz continues smiling at you for a few seconds, then looks away. I stole the file from At's Technology. A tinge of red crawls into Blitz's cheeks. He shuffles his feet. In hindsight, it might not have been the best of ideas. You think? Yeah, I guess. Emily wasn't too impressed either. Our only really big fight was over that stupid file. Anyway, time passed. Eventually we made up and laughed the whole thing off, or at least I thought we did. Truth be told, I forgot all about it until I realized that the data had gone missing. Alright, so the love of your life took your encrypted file and bailed on you. What are you gonna do about it? I don't know, Chief. This whole incident has me rethinking a lot of things. What if she took the file to protect the Yazzies? What if she's with them? I've gotta admit, this has me worried. I'm even more torn up now than I was before. He meets your gaze and you can see the concern gnawing at him. I don't know what to do, but I'm open to suggestions. You've got a direction to look in now. If I were you, I'd get back into the Matrix and find her. Who am I kidding? You're right. I won't be able to stop thinking about this until I've found her, so I might as well keep trying. Thanks, Chief. You've been a huge help. Best of luck. Let me know how it turns out. I will, Chief. I will. Dietrich, anything else? Back when we took on Humanus, you said that you fought in the Night of Rage. I'd like to hear more about that. He nods, then fishes in his jacket pocket for his flask. Alright, boss. We can talk about it. So, I already mentioned that Berlin's punks and anarchists joined forces to fight off the races, right? And after a long, bloody fight, we beat them. What I did mention is how I figured into all of this. I'm an anarchist at heart, always have been. But at the time, I fit squarely into the punk camp. I was 32 at the time. Massa Camp was still touring, not as much as we did when we were kids, but we had a following. I guess I was sort of an elder statesman for the scene. Dietrich said it. When we rallied to fight the racists, my followers came along for the ride. Bunch of young kids, all full of piss and vinegar and the immortality of youth. I was full of that good old Dragon Slayer spirit, pissed off and itching for a fight. And so I led those kids into the fray. They waded into the riot right alongside me, yelling and screaming with their fists in the air. I don't remember a whole lot of the fight itself, boss, but I do remember the aftermath. A lot of the kids that followed me had grown up listening to my music. They had all of my attitude, Val, but none of them had my magic. And youthful enthusiasm was no defense against a knife or a handgun. I left the punk scene for all of the reasons I told you, boss. But there was a bigger reason, and I saw it in those kids' broken bodies. This road that I'm on, it leads to the grave. I've got the power to make it a leisurely trip, but make no mistake, that is where I'm headed. Those kids tried to follow in my footsteps, and they wound up sprinting ahead of me instead. Better for me to stay out of the public eye and stick to the shadows. My stint as a role model was ill-advised. Have you put any thought into what I said earlier? Yeah, boss, I have. It's an interesting idea, but there are risks. I'm thinking that this might be not the best of times to approach him about it. He's the source of my magic, remember? If our discussion turned into an argument, he could take all of that magic in a heartbeat, and then where would we be? From what you've told me about the Dragon Slayer, I don't think he'd like the way you're talking. Since when has he ever encouraged you to back down from a fight? You've got a point there, boss. You wouldn't want me to back down ever. Not even from him. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'll ask the Dragon Slayer about shifting priorities, I guess you'd say. Taking on some deserving organization and calling off the hunt for something more impressive than the firing. Of course, a fight like that would never really end. I'm never gonna bring down a corp or a polyclub all on my lonesome. But maybe that's not a bad thing. I take a lot of the guesswork out of life. I don't know, boss. If you have any thoughts about this, I'd love to hear them. The punk scene survived East Germany. Well, yeah, it is highly fascinating. You've already done some damage to Humanis. How about them? Could they be your new white whale after we're done with all of this? Tempting, but like you said, I've already kicked the holy hell out of them. Twice. If I'm gonna do this, it needs to be a step forward. The Dragon Slayer won't be satisfied with me retreading old ground. Why tie yourself to a specific group? I say, keep it fluid. Stomp anyone that threatens the flux. Isn't that what Berlin is all about? Interesting. That's a different approach, but I like it. Hang on a second, I'll ask. He closes his eyes and concentrates. Minutes pass. Slowly, a smile creeps across his face. Yeah, I think that he liked his plan just fine. That was it? That was all it took? The Dragon Slayer doesn't mince words, boss. If he didn't like the plan, he'd have told me. Well, boss, I've got myself a plan and a new target to boot. That's assuming, of course, that any of us make it through our current predicament alive. You know, Dietrich, now that you've got a handle on your connection with the Dragon Slayer, you could probably reach out to your old community again. Berlin's punks could benefit from your experience. Yeah, boss. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe I could give it back a bit and fix some of the damage I caused in my misspent youth. After we're finished dealing with the crisis in front of us, that is. It's a good thought, anyway. I'll keep it in mind. Making some progress with our crew over here. Iger, how about you? We should talk about what happened with the engineer. Agreed. I'm ready to go over it if you are. So the engineer was working for a secret society. I wasn't expecting that. Neither was I. A part of me was still having trouble believing it, but it's true. Yuli wasn't lying. I could see it in his eyes. Have you been able to do any digging on Winter Night? No, there just isn't much reliable information out there. Whoever these guys are, they're very good at information control. None of my contacts could find anything but rumor and conjecture, and most of that is too crazy to even consider. How crazy are we talking here? Completely insane. Stories about magical nukes and the end of the world. Fenris shamans, Ragnarok, that kind of thing. Like I said, nuts. There are a lot of crazy things going on in this world. That doesn't mean they're not real. Yes, there are, and no it doesn't, but this is just too far out for me to accept. It's far more likely that they released these stories themselves to throw people off of whatever they're really doing. I've gotta let you in on a little secret. They're being very upfront about what their plan is. Anyway, we stopped them cold in Shotton Nest. Whatever their business is, whatever was going to be in those crates the engineer was having shipped there, it isn't our problem anymore. The Kreutz Bazaar is safe. On that front, at least. I hope you're right. Chin up, fearless leader. We did good back there. Besides which, we still have a dragon to worry about. When I left that room to search for clues, the engineer told you something. Something that pushed you over the edge. That son of a bitch said a lot of things. What of it? You knew that we needed him, but you beat him badly. I'm worried about that lapse of control. You don't need to be. There is nothing wrong with my self-control. I made a choice to unload on Yuli because he was a murderous asshole. I knew how much pressure to apply, which bones to break, and which ones to leave alone. And I did all of those things. Fair enough. I'm not questioning your professionalism, Iger. As your team leader, I was concerned. If you say that I have no reason to worry, then I won't. Good. And thanks. Now, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about? You said that you thought you could reverse engineer that pulse grenade that you pulled from the engineer. Any luck with that? Yeah, actually. It wasn't too difficult to pull the thing apart and see what it made it tick. Making one of my own was a different story, but I got it in the end. She reaches into her desk and grabs a cylindrical object. Gently, she lifts it up and hands it to you. Meet the newest addition to my arsenal. I call it the Voltaic Grenade. It's based on the same principles as the Russian Pulse Grenade, but with a few tweaks of my own. Nice. You said that these things were designed for crowd control? Originally, yeah. Mine has got a lot more bite, though. I bumped up the amperage quite a bit. When that thing goes off, it'll both shut down the nervous system and cook the organs of anyone in its blast radius. Ooh, sounds nasty. It is. You wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of one of these. For now, I've only managed to make one Voltaic grenade. They aren't the easiest things in the world to manufacture, or the cheapest. But I should be able to scrounge up enough raw materials to put a new one together between each run. Yeah, set your phasers to kill. Sounds good to me. Anything else? Nope, that should be it. Thanks for the talk. Thank you, fearless leader, both for the chat and for the assist on the run. Anything else? Nothing about now, Iger. Anything Glory would like to share with the class? Val, good to see you. You too, Glory. How are things with you? You know what? I'm happy, actually. For the first time in a long time. I have you to thank for that. Are you ready to tell me about that chrome you're sporting? Be patient, Val. The explanation for that is coming. I'm not sure that you're going to like it, though. You needed time, and I give you time. Are you ready to talk about Feuerstelle yet? Yeah. Glory looks troubled, more so than you've ever seen her before. Whatever memories she's dredging up must be exceedingly painful. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been looking forward to this. But yeah, it's time. Val, look, I'm about to tell you some things about myself that might change your opinion of me. It's entirely possible that you're going to hate me based on what's coming up next. I've accepted that, and if that's what happens, I sincerely believe that I deserve it. That is also directed towards you, the viewers. So tell me, are you sure that you want to keep pushing forward with this? This is important for you, Glory. After everything we've been through, I think that we both know that whatever you have to tell me, I'm ready to listen. Thanks, Val. Thanks for being a friend. So when we left off last time, I had just moved from the streets of Tübingen to the warm, inviting confines of Feuerstelle. Marta and I were happy there for a little while, and Harrow embraced me as a long-lost daughter. I should probably take a moment to talk more about Harrow. He's going to be an important figure in this story. I don't know what his age was. He seemed old enough to be paternal, but young enough to hang with the kids on something like a peer level. Best guess, I'd say he was in his mid-20s. He was handsome and well-built, with a nearly neatly trimmed beard and thick brown hair. And there was something else about him. Something uncanny. Harrow had this charisma, this raw magnetic attraction that just made people latch onto him. I saw it over and over. All it took was a few words and a pat on the shoulder, and Harrow would have a new convert. The other kids at the farm followed him around like lost puppies. As much as I loved Marta, and as much as I thought she loved me, we forgot all about one another when Harrow was around. All that we wanted was to be close to him and to be part of his inner circle. And soon enough, we were. For a girl of 17, it was all terribly exciting. Harrow had these rules of living that he would teach us, rules about self-determination and the importance of disobedience. He claimed to have taught classes at the University of Berlin, which he painted as a mix between an earthly paradise and an anarchist playground. He told us how Feuerstelle would be the focal point of a new movement for the children of the fatherland. He told us that we were special. We ate it up, of course. We were kids. For those of us in the inner sanctum, Harrow would share even more. He had power, the likes of which I had never seen. Not my father's drunken fists or my own childish experiments, but genuine, incredible power. He said that it came from the Horned God, an ancient deity that he venerated. He knew about my latent abilities right away, and he offered to teach me. Naturally, I accepted. I have heard about Horned God. His followers have a poor reputation, especially among women. Any bad reputation that they might have gained is well deserved, but there was much more to it than that, as you'll see. No, it is not a rat. I'd say it's closer to a goat. Hang with me, Val. Rough waters ahead. So I became Harrow's apprentice. He taught me to channel magic and summon spirits. He taught me rituals and pagan traditions, Machiavellian philosophy and Nietzschean ethics. Above all, he taught me to connect with his Horned God, and through it I learned power and arrogance. And it was all downhill from there. For the next few years, I lived at Feuerstelle as Harrow's enforcer and right-hand girl. I was also his sometimes wife and concubine, but that was a distinction that I shared with all of the girls in the concubine commune, including my beloved Marta. I came to learn that she'd been his long before she met me, but by that point, I didn't care. I'd embraced the rules of living. I was Harrow's creature through and through. I didn't ask questions, and I walked the path that was in front of me. Other fun facts about those years. I learned cruelty. I had power now, and my new idol encouraged me to use it. Harrow did the same. Any children who didn't pull their weight were subjected to my tender mercies, and I was anything but tender. I took what I wanted rather than asking for it. I liked it. It was fun. I also came to learn that Harrow's Horned God was not the Eichenfürst worshipped by throwback cults across Germany. It was certainly a god with horns, but it came from an altogether different tradition. Care to hazard a guess? The devil? In the magically active community, we refer to it as the adversary. But yeah, same thing, same being, more or less. Told you. So my idol, the ancient deity that was feeding me my power, was the antithesis of everything that is right and good. And you know what? I didn't care. In our time together, Harrow and I committed more atrocities than I could count. At this point, I was onto all of his tricks. I knew that Feuerstelle was nothing more than a honey trap carefully designed to lure local children into my master's clutches. I knew that the kids who seemed resistant to Harrow's brainwashing techniques wound up fertilizing a garden. I knew that Harrow's entire manifesto was bullshit. And I knew that through it all, Harrow and the adversary were laughing because I was laughing right there beside them. I don't want to pin the blame for my decisions on anyone but me. That said, I would like to posit that my father's connection to the Kreuzritters might have helped play into my willingness to serve the adversary. In my warped, indoctrinated little brain, I equated the church with evil, so the opposite of that I figured had to be, well, if not good, then at least not totally bad. No, it is Satan. But I was kidding myself, of course. My new deity was the very definition of bad. Serving it made me bad. End of story. I can't excuse the choices that you made, but I can understand why you made them. That's big of you, Val. I genuinely mean that. Glory takes a moment to steel herself, then continues on. Anyway, one day Harrow invited me on a field trip to Stuttgart. Over the years that I was at Feuerstelle, the commune had easily doubled in size. It was thriving, all thanks to the efforts of Marta and the girls like her. Harrow would send the girls out to neighboring cities to lure in the street kids that nobody would miss. He targeted children because they were easy to indoctrinate, but because nothing makes the adversary happier than the corruption of the innocent. As we drove out to pick up the new recruits, I was already planning ahead. It was a foregone conclusion that I would pay my father a visit. The irony of a group of Kreuzritters getting immolated by a genuine servant of the actual devil tickled me to no end. So when Harrow stopped to fill up on diesel, I hopped out of the van and headed on foot to my parents' place. Harrow wasn't overly concerned about my absence. I had long since reached the point where I could assert my authority, and he knew that I'd be back. I wound up at my folks' house sometime around noon. I could hear the adversary whispering in my ear, telling me what to do. I'd long since learned to listen to its voice. It always rewarded me with extra power when I did its bidding. It told me to knock, so I did. As the door opened, I could feel a torrent of flames welling up in the astral plane all around me. It told me to channel them into the doorway, into my father. So I did. But of course the person who opened the door wasn't my father. It was my mother. As I watched her flesh blacken and melt, as I heard her scream and I broke into hysterics, I heard the adversary laugh. And at that moment, I realized that it was laughing at me. Yeah, tragic, but predictable. In hindsight, yes, you're right. It was inevitable that this would happen. I was a fool and a puppet, and any power that I thought that I had was on loan from a being that craved my own misery. It was like a lever had been pulled. All at once, the bubble popped. I wasn't a powerful servant of the adversary. I was not Harrow's #1 girl. I was a ridiculous little fool who'd willingly tied her soul to the worst thing in existence. Realizing all of this was one thing. Actually fixing it was something else entirely. I knew that I had to get away from Harrow. That was the first thing to do. So I bit my lip and did my best to ignore the happy babble of the new recruits on the trip back to Feuerstelle, and I managed to get through the ride without screaming. Once we were back at the commune, I broke into Harrow's safe, stole all of the commune's resources, and ran. I don't know when Harrow realized what I'd done or whether he even cared. All that I know is that nobody came after me, so I kept running and running until I got to Berlin. Getting past the wall was fairly simple. You know how easy it is to obtain falsified papers? The biggest obstacle that I faced during my flight was the adversary itself. I could run from Harrow, but how do you run from something that's tied to your own soul? I have a feeling that I know. The haunted look in Glory's eyes is heartbreaking. She gives you another curt, grim nod. I walked into the office of the first street doc I could find, pointed at all of the biggest, bulkiest pieces of cyberware that he had on display, and told him to put them into me. He tried to upsell me on better merchandise, arguing that what I was asking for was old and inefficient, better suited to be installed in a museum than in a body. He told me that I'd be shredding my essence, and that once it was gone, I'd never be able to get it back. I stuck to my guns. After all, shredding my essence was the whole point. Glory looks up at you. Her eyes are sunken and hollow, and the aura of loss about her is palpable. She looks like a woman who has been through hell. That's all for now, Val. You've heard the tale, you know why I am the way I am, you know the things I've done, and how much I have to atone for. If you still want my company, fine. If I've lost your friendship, I understand that too. But for now, I need to be alone. Chat, we can fix her. We opened her up. We can fix her. This is a promise. Anything new in Shadowland? F State Protection. The writers have it on good authority that the Lobachevsky Syndicate is eyeing Shutton Nest for expansion. For the good of the Flux, we should keep a watchful eye on this situation. See attached files for more details. Okay, bad news for Shutton Nest, but if the Rambok isn't going to stop them, and I hear Surturf is out of the picture, well, I'm sure there's some Polyclub out there who wants that piece of the pie. I know we've got enough of them. Tolstoy. I know that Humanis has some presence there, but I doubt they'll fight the Russians too much. I'd say they're far more likely to form a partnership. Ruby. Drogen Keeper banking woes. Looks like there's been a good old-fashioned bank heist in Drogen Keeper. One of those old defunded banks still had some funds in it, apparently. Whoever was responsible waltzed right in and transferred away a whole lot of new yen. Oh, look, chat, they're talking about us. That's not all. A pal of mine had been contracted to do some work for one of the other landing establishments in the area. When he went in to meet with his contact, all that he found was a couple of shell casings and a troll-sized pool of blood. Huh. And I'd always assumed that banking was a boring job. Sounds pretty action-packed to me. You've got a break-in, a big score, what looks like a revenge killing. All of that plus a steady paycheck. What more could you want? If you need me, I'll be pulling in an application at my nearest savings and loan. Yep, we're famous. Energy sources? I've got solar panels like everybody, but does anyone have experience with these mana turbine services? I'm off the grid, so there are some times when I need to do some late-night decking or maintenance on my telescoping limbs. Alan Altbit. Is that the thing where a mage comes by and drops some juice into a generator? My buddy was telling me about them last week. The turbine spins the mana around and the charge lasts for weeks, she said. They're a scam, chummer. That mage is going to be out there with your money before you realize how much power you've actually got. You're better off pedaling a bike battery. Shame, really. And that's why you should invest in nuclear power, never mind the SOX existing. No, really, don't mind that. It was just the French being too bad with their maintenance. Should have paid better attention to Cattenom nuclear reactors. And before we head out one last time, anything for you to add, Paul? I got a question for you about the Kreutz Bazaar. Well, they can't be trusted with nuclear power in this timeline, but in our, I'd say they're performing alright. Very well, where to begin? Samuel Beckenbauer is a good man, perhaps a bit xenophobic, but this is to be expected. He stands up for the rights of the goblinoid races, the orcs and the trolls, yes, and they have been more vilified and victimized than any of the other metahuman breeds. What is important is that he is a leader and a healer, and that he helps his people. In the Soykav shop you will find Jan Goldschmidt. I tell you that you will find him there because he never seems to leave the place. Every time I go out for a coffee, he is there sipping on Soykav. Beyond that, I cannot say what I think of the man. He is a jovial sack of fat. Perhaps if you speak with him, you can learn something more. And that should be it. How about we invest a little bit into our biotech? Oh, we're already at level 4. We'll just need to hit level 5 then. Last time they used the nuke, a giant lizard stomped through New York. That was back in the 90s. Ancient history by now. Now then. Time for Arts Technology run. Assemble a team and travel to Arts Technology's Berlin compound to sabotage their bloodline research project. I think for this one I'm gonna take Blitz, Dietrich, and Eiger. There's his deck, Fuji Virtua X. And there is this Volte Grenade, a grenade which releases an electric shock in the surrounding area. Damage 14, area of effect 3. Bloodline. Arts Technology. A giant in the world of technological and magical research. One of the most powerful and feared corporations on the planet. There are very few places in this world that the tendrils of Arts Technology cannot reach. And last time I checked, they also tried to monopolize world's food supply to further their schemes. Germany is no exception. The black glass edifice of the Asi Pyramid dominates the courtyard of the Zitadelle Spandau, and countless other, more innocuous facilities can be found all over Berlin. The lab that they maintain in the Jewel district is one of these. According to your client, the project that the Asis are working on here is dangerous. So dangerous that she is paying you to bring the entire building down. So I get myself 2 trauma kits, 2 med kits, 1 flashbang grenade, and I suppose I can also take 1 drone repair kit. Blitz here got Cram, Bliss, 2 med kits, 1 drone repair kit, and I'm thinking I can also give him a phosphorus grenade just in case. Dietrich got the Force 4 air elemental fetish and the Bumona trauma kit. Since he is of course our shaman, I suppose the only thing I can give him would be another frag grenade. And as for Eiger, I'd like for her to remain alive, so Bumona gold trauma kit for her. The Jewel district is everything that your client made it out to be. Corporate complexes of all description crowd into one another, competing for the district's limited space. Lights burn in all of the windows, but the streets stand empty. No shoppers, no pedestrians, nothing but silence. Also nice of them to have that vintage Cold War notice. You're leaving a controlled sector. Sie verlassen den kontrollierten Sektor. Quiet out here. A friend of mine did a job here once. Told me that the local wage slaves are all issued efficiency apartments deep inside the compound. Apparently the buildings are all linked up on an underground tram system. Bed to cubicle in less than 5 minutes. Most days the poor bastards don't even get to see the sunshine. That ain't living, love. This is a slow death. Makes my skin crawl just thinking about it. And of course, a job from Writer. Regarding ATS Technology. This is an open request for research data from ATS Technology, Yevul District Branch. The Yazis conduct their research in secrecy. They use their money and power to obscure the truth. We will uncover their secrets. We will share them with the world. We will level the playing field between ATS Technology and its competition. The timely delivery of this information will be well rewarded. Freedom, equality, information. Writer. Project Data. Okay then. We'll see what they mean by Project Data. Your comlink crackles with static. A moment later, the sonorous voice of Luca Duer begins speaking into your ear. Hello again, Val. I have an opportunity for you. You are in an ATS Technology facility, yes? Well, that facility is also home to an executive, a small man who foolishly believes that he is beyond our reach. In this, he is mistaken. We would like you to deliver a message to this effect. What kind of message are we talking about here? The vocal kind. It's really quite simple. All that we want you to do is whisper a phrase into his ear. We are pleased that Project Vincent is going so well. If you wanted to embellish the fact that he is receiving this message in the one place where he feels the most secure, we wouldn't stop you. And that's all there is to it. A simple job, but an important one. I have already marked your target's current location on your PDA. We have great faith in you, Val. Please don't disappoint us. Sure, it turns out to be a kill phrase. Or another trigger phrase of some sort. Series of clicks, Paul Amzer begins to speak. Alright, well, that's the ATS Technology Complex just in front of you. You'll note the heavy security posted at the front door. Those are ATS Technology employees. They're dangerous, but you could probably take them without too much difficulty. Unfortunately, the Yazis have also contracted Knight Errant to protect this facility. They're the ones that you need to be worried about. Just to reiterate, you'll want to keep a low profile on this run. Get in and out as quietly as possible. Knight Errant keeps a high threat response team on site, and if you don't want to tangle with them, trust me on that. If you do need to go loud, give it everything you've got. You're going to be reducing the building to a smoldering crater anyway. But I'd highly recommend stealth over frontal assault. We won't start shooting until we run out of words. Good man. I'd begin by trying to find an alternative path into the building. Something out of sight. Once the facility calls for help, you're going to be on a tight timetable. In other words, not speaking with you. We'll look around. I can go through here. What do we have over here? A shoddily built soy calf shop. Looks like it's closed. There's, of course, the sewers. A human and a dwarf, both in their early 20s, stand huddled in a courtyard. They don't seem to notice your approach. He's been gone for a long time, Myra. I'm getting worried. Are you? Aren't you? She is my girlfriend, Heinrich. Of course I'm worried. But she can handle herself. On the streets, yeah, but against the Yazis, I just don't know. She'll be okay. Brave words, but her tone tells a different story. It's plain as the day that she is worried sick. Oh man, I don't know what to do, Myra. And I still say that messing with the Yazis was a bad idea. What else were we supposed to do? That compound of theirs is lit up like a goddamn Christmas tree. They've got more power than they know what to do with. We need that juice, Heimer. Our solar collectors are garbage. If we can't keep the lights on after a few days of cloud cover, how do you think we're going to survive the winter? I know, Myra, I know. But couldn't we have just bought those some second-hand panels? They can't be that expensive. We could have, sure. But before, Danny spent our last handful of yen on those forged keycards. She'll be fine. She'll be back any second now. Just you wait. Does leaving no one alive count as stealth? In a way. Let's offer our help to them. Yeah, what do you want? Couldn't help overhearing you two. Going up against that technology, huh? We're not going up against anything. Do we look like Shadowrunners to you? We're just, improvising. Trying to stay in business. The only way we can. Could you two use some help? It sounds like your friend has gotten herself in trouble. It will be fine. What we don't need is a stranger butting into our business. So just go away, alright? Have a nice day. Myra, look at him. That's a professional. He can help us. Please, man, we do need your help. She just doesn't want to admit it. If it's bad for the Yazzies, it's good for me. I'll help you out. Oh, thank God. And thank you too. Give him the spare keycard that Danny bought. He's gonna fix this for us. You can see the mistrust in her eyes, but after a moment's hesitation, she begins to fish around in her bag. Finally, she produces a thick plastic keycard. She hands it to you. This'll get you into the utility tunnel. Danny went down there about half an hour ago. She said she'd be back in 10 minutes. Find her for us, okay? Please bring her back safe. You won't regret it. But before we go in there, let's have a look around the complex a little more. Just to be sure that we're not missing out on any content. Cheap corporate art. Looks like marble from a distance, but up close it's really made of injection molded plasticrete. Nouveau riche style. If you excuse me in my French. An LTG worker. Excuse me? This LTG tech's coveralls are smeared with sweat and grime. A scowl is plastered across her face. She takes a quick glance at you, then turns back to her work. Unless you're here to help me fix this panel, you'd better stay the hell out of my hair. Otherwise, I'll call security and have them drag you out. Well, that's what you're here for, Blitz. Take a look at this panel. Quickly, Blitz shows her the problem in two mismatched connections. Hey. Yeah, you're right. She looks up at you. The scowl has disappeared from her face, but she doesn't look happy either. Look, I really appreciate the help, but I have to do this myself. I'm already way behind, and corporate's gonna have my ass if I don't get this thing done before lunch. You know, if you're that far behind, you could always go catch up on your other work. Leave me to work on the panel. It'll be no trouble. A confused scowl crosses her face. I don't even know you, buddy. Why in God's name would I leave you alone with a panel that I'm responsible for? When did that technology ever do anything for you aside from working you half to death? Let me take care of the panel and you can clock out early. I'll even spread a little spending money your way. You make a compelling argument. This job has been a lot of drag since they canned my assistant. Ah, screw it. The panel's all yours. I'm off to find a pub. And that cost us only 100 new yen. The panel is a mess. The lock on the casing has been broken and exposed cabling spills out in a number of places. Blitz? We can do that, but let's be a good sport and help out those two kids that are way over their heads. Ads technology will eat them alive. And it will eat us alive, if we're not careful. Somebody spent a fair amount of money on this utility hatch, and it's plastered with the anti-tampering warnings to prove it. A cursory inspection shows you that the hatch has been maglocked, a fairly sophisticated model from the looks of it. Short of using an authorized keycard, there is no way you're getting past this thing. Well, we do have it. The indicator light up on the maglock changes from red to green. There's an audible thunk, and the hatch pops open, revealing a ladder leading down to the utility tunnel below. Down we go. Anyone home? A lock appears to be short-circuited. We're looking for 2 unauthorized... Ah, there she is. In an instant, you size up the scene playing out in front of you. A young elf dressed in the same shabby chic clothes that the cafe kids wear. Danny. Cornered with no place to run. A pair of ATS technology security drones closing in for the kill. The drones are low-grade, but they are armed and Danny's hands are empty. She is in trouble, and she knows it. The futility of her situation is written all over her face. An instant later, the drone sensors alert them to your presence. They spin in unison to face you. Intruders detected. Weapons detected. Lethal force authorized. Danny's eyes widen and she hits the deck. The panic spills out of her in a scream. Look out! We can handle them, worry not. Also liking this combat mix. Careful. There we go. Alright, Danny, get out of here, for your own good. Danny looks you up and down. When she's finished sizing you up, she puts her hands on her hips and smiles. Thanks for the rescue. It takes a pair to bring a weapon into Azzy territory. Everybody knows that they shoot first if you're packing. I wouldn't have risked it. Life in the shadows is all about taking risks. Yeah, well, life running a soy calf shop is a little more my speed. Not that there aren't risks. There's always the chance that some drunk will break your windows, or a gang will try to shake you down for protection. Those things I can handle, but this... She stares down at the smashed drones and slowly shakes her head. Well, those are security drones, and we've always been very good at dealing with drones. Anyway, yeah, I'll admit it. I got in over my head, but only a little bit. The drones wouldn't have shot me. I wasn't armed, but I wasn't looking forward to spending the next week in an Azzy interrogation cell. I've heard stories. C'est true, love. Dietrich shakes his head at her. Word is advice. If you're fool enough to try something like this again, carry a gun. Better to be shot than to let them take you. I'll take your word for it, but I'm not planning on making it a habit of this. She slaps the side of a power conduit with a smile. And I should need to. The tap cell hooked up and ready. Impressive. Heinrich wasn't convinced that you could pull it off. Yeah, well, it's amazing that you can catch yourself to... what you can teach yourself to do when your livelihood depends on it. Germans aren't too keen on knockoff coffee. Times change. I'm sure there's some business to be had. Blitz leans in to inspect her work. Yeah, that looks like a pretty solid connection. Nice soldering job on those contacts there. I'd say that you're good to go. You know, Chief, we could use this setup to our advantage. It wouldn't be too hard for me to manufacture a power spike from here. We could overload the Azzy's power grid. Without disabling the generator's safety overrides, it wouldn't cause any permanent damage, but the confusion might give us an opening to get into the building. Your call, of course. Just thought I should bring it up. Danny's eyes go wide. Whoa, hold up. If you do that, they'll trace it. ATS technology will find the power tap and they'll come down on us. We can make it worth your while. No, you can't. There's nothing you could give us that wouldn't make up for what you're talking about doing. So please, just drop it, okay? You know what, you're right. Nobody needs that kind of heat. I'll find another way in. And we did. Whew, thanks. You know, some people say that Shadowrunners are ruthless criminals. Guns for hire, just out for the money. It's good to see that this isn't always the case. These Germans rioted in 1974 when the government tried to peddle them an alternative made from dandelions. Or like that one time when Castro got it in his head that he needs to make Cuba the premier cheese producer in the comm block. I'm gonna bail on out of here. I've been stuck in this tunnel too long already, and like you said, the others are worried. But if there's ever anything that we can do for you, come by the shop. You'll be welcome at our place for life. Thanks, but I prefer Altuk's place since he still serves authentic Turkish coffee. Castro, got milk? And that got nowhere because his cheese was terrible. Like, legitimately terrible. Or so I've heard. Danny looks up at you with a smile. There he is, our hero. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for bringing her back to us. Yeah, thanks, and thank you for helping to keep the Yazzies out of our tails. If Danny had been captured, it would have been bad. She reaches up, grabs Danny's hand, clutches it tight. Worse than bad, babe. A lot worse. Anyway, thanks again for the rescue. We all owe you a lot. If there's ever anything that any of us can do for you, you just let us know. If anything, you're welcome at Croyd's Bazaar. It ain't much of a shop you got here, but it's honest work, as far as it goes. Come on, Max, hurry up. Into the side entrance we go. This is gonna be fun. In big, big quotation marks. The glittering halls of the Yacht's technology facility stand in sharp contrast to the megacorp's unsavory reputation. Everything in here screams money, from the mirror polish on the floors to the obsidian inlays in the walls. The generators and the Bloodline project lie somewhere beneath your feet. Nice work, Val. There have been no alerts thus far. Hopefully you'll continue to avoid detection as you make your way through the building. If an alert does go out, I'll get you an ETA on their reinforcements, but hopefully it won't come to that. I have marked an elevator on your PDA. I'd start making my way there if I were you. It's the most efficient path to reach your objective. Best of luck. Ground floor. Give the message to the Technology Executive. That means we ought to look around a little bit. Don't mind me, I'm just a businessman with my escorts. I don't discriminate. Intruders! Whatever you just did, it got their attention. A knight-errant high-threat response team is on its way. Good luck, you're about to need it. Thanks for the heads up. High-threat response team arrival in 19 turns. Looks like I rushed in a bit too quickly there. Well, target blast him. Let's just hope we can take him out quick enough. Because you, my friend, find yourself in the back of an automobile, wondering how did I get here? Then again, we can always just reload and try to stealth it through. And honestly, I'd like to try to do that. But first of all, let's see if we can pull this off. Yep, I can hear the doors opening. And this... Wait, this leads nowhere. You know what? Get to the lab undetected is a mission objective, so... Let's load back up. After all, stealth, while optional, is preferable. Now then. Once more with feeling, as they say. Safe's coming? No, safe securing. Indeed. We can afford to look around a little bit. Especially if we can select a decker to jack in. Blitz, you are up. This shouldn't be too hard, right? Security camera, elevator controls. Okay. Now we just gotta deal with these Muppets. Maybe I'll summon an attacker. Or, actually, how about an exploder? I'd like to see it actually explode this time. Kaboom? Yes, Rico, kaboom. Ooh, that's smart. First of all, security cameras. Get to it. Next, secure door controls. And then elevator controls. We are done here. Get out. Jack out. Still better than jacking off. Although it depends on who you ask, of course. So, that's the executive we need to deliver the message to. Before that, we'll make a stop at this lab. Adds technology inventory services. Press any key to begin. The terminal springs to life. A quick scan of its contents reveals little of value, but you do find a message that catches your attention. From Fatima Mayer to Katya Lange. Katya, I've got some pretty grave concerns about this new project. I don't know what they're doing downstairs, not exactly anyway, but I'm pretty thoroughly creeped out by some of the inventory requests that have been coming up to my desk recently. When we decided to sign on with that technology, we talked this over. We knew the company's reputation, and I said that I could handle whatever came my way, but this... I don't know, Katya. This last order crossed the line. What would the research team need with a bulk order of gags, restraints, and 500 liters of hydrochloric acid? Now, the first two items could be easily mistaken for a side project into BDSM dungeons they are building to finance their experiments, but yeah, hydrochloric acid is definitely very sus. Uh-oh, I've gotta run. Just got a message over the comm. Looks like the Central wants to see me about something. I'll catch you back at your apartment later tonight. Let's talk about this over a bottle of wine. I know that I could use it. F. Something tells me that she never got to enjoy that glass of wine. Yeah, you don't squeal on Ad's technology. Quickly open the door. Now, what if we... Actually, before we go in... I can't save it this segment. I see what you got in this game. I see what you mean. So let's just quickly run. Run like... Ah. Well then. Couldn't have been helped, I suppose. At least the exec is there, and he won't be leaving anytime soon. So we can just make it happen sooner rather than later. We'll just need to be quick about it. Quick bolt of energy away. Be quick about it, mortal. Ah, this brings back memories. Pleasant kind, of course. Now, before we go, we just... Can I... Dietrich, can you please get the door for me? Thank you. Can I deliver a message in person? Thank you. Almost. Ah, there we go. A worried-looking man in an expensive suit is pacing back and forth into his room. He locks eyes with you and you can tell the fear radiating out of him. What? Who are you? How do you get in here? We have mutual friends. They have a message for you. Friends? What friends? What are you talking about? We are pleased that Project Vincent is going so well. The executive jerks back as though you slapped him. His face is gone as white as a sheet. Our friends wanted me to deliver this message to you in person, here, in your office. I'm sure that you understand. Yes, of course. The expression on his face is one of pure horror. Please, please tell our friends that I hear them loud and clear, and tell them that I'm making the call. I will. Will it be the night call to tell them how he feels? I certainly hope so, for his own safety. But we gotta go. Like right now. That man is also leaving, as should we. Nope, I didn't want you to get the door, but fine. This puts you at a slightly better position. There. And now we can get out of here into the next scene. Your stomach lurches slightly as the elevator plummets downward into the bowels of the Yates Technology facility. A faint but omnipresent thrumming sound raises the hair on the back of your neck. The deeper you go, the more certain you become. This place is vibrating with power, both from the generators and from something else. Vaguely ominous, just the way we like it. Well, I'm afraid that I have some bad news. The high threat response team is on its way. It's only a matter of time before they close in on your position. You'll never make it back to the elevator in time, but I found another exit point for you. There's a security door near the generators. I will mark it on your PDA. When you're ready to make your egress, this will be on your best call. Expect heavy resistance, Val. Good luck. Already. Already into combat we go. Honestly, I shouldn't be surprised. Since we went loud, this was inevitable. However, what I don't appreciate is us missing shots. But that's why we brought Dietrich. Compensate for that misgiving. Can you nail anyone from this angle? No. Shift a little bit. Unfortunate. 16 turns. There are no slouches, I'll give him that. But we should be good. Keyword, of course, being should. But I have faith in all of our abilities, even if they don't proc as often as I'd like them to. As the French say, c'est la vie. Oof. Ouch. We're still on top of this. Especially if we do that. Have fun with that, bozos. C'est la vie. Always. Tiger, move up. Turns. Let's see what's behind door number 1. There's a barrel, 2 barrels, which means there will be more people over here. Or at least security cameras. Prime targets for hacking. Blitz can find a terminal to jack himself into. That'll be swell. Can you check what's inside there? Keep moving, Val. You're almost there. When you've reached the control panel for the generators, the password XOLOTL should allow you to disengage their safety overrides. Set the destruct and get out. See you back at the Koitz Bazaar. You remember the password, right? Xolotl. Like axolotl, but without A. That's the jack-in point. Come on, everyone. Get into positions. Do not stand close by the barrels. I know it's tempting, but don't. Ignore whatever your instincts tell you to. A flayed blind dog that guards the sun during its travel through the underworld. That's what Xolotl is, I'm guessing. Heal yourself up in the meantime. And brother to Quetzalcoatl. Somehow I am not surprised. Like that. Okay, Blitz. Jack in. Be quick about it. The rest of us, just hold on tight. There they are. Ooh. White Sentry. I see the game we're playing. And I can abide by its rules, at least for a while. I got us 10 turns before the high threat response team gets here. Also, haha, its abbreviature is HRT. Get it? They were born both from the old devouring Earth Mother Coatlicue after she shook a feathered fan that fell from the sky. One, two, three. Still holding on. You all still hold in there. Okay, the sentry has been burned down. One, two, three. What to do with this asshole? One, and quicker, okay, quick coming up the pace. Oh, come on now. One, two. Yeah. 9 turns before that. Get that lab blast door open. Perfect. Anything else you can get in there? Okay, that's the door that we were going up against. So now we can slowly shift our positions. Tiger, still stay over there, just in case. The bot, in the meantime, can go into the vents. As soon as there we go. Can you get hacked by doors? I don't think so. It's not as advanced as Divine Cybermancy. 1, 2, 3. What do we have here? Security cameras. Got it. Tell me what do you see, Blitz? Hopefully it's gonna be encouraging. Yeah, Divine Cybermancy is one delightfully insane game. Ow. Seeing anything? Does not look like it. Oh, give me a moment. Hopefully the game will go back in. Otherwise, we'll have to reload this entire segment, because I have apparently just clicked off the screen. And as we all know, Dragonfall does not like that particularly. So give me a moment, or at least give it a moment. Come on, game, work with me here. Well then, looks like we're gonna have to reload. I hate when this happens. But it happens nonetheless. So give me a moment and I will be right back. Right back to it. Hopefully the last quick save wasn't too far away. Yeah, game has the hiccups. Unfortunate. But what can you do? A question I find myself asking all too often. Right at the start, huh? Okay, let's dance. I am prepared. How about you? I wouldn't ask otherwise. I do like them crits. Everyone likes them crits, especially when you're the one handing them out. What of course I do not like is us missing. Practically point blank. But nobody likes that, let's be honest. Yeah, everyone likes crits until they are on the receiving end. Truer words have never been spoken. If you can keep it together, that'd be much appreciated, but of course you won't. Therefore, I said therefore. You're ruining the scene. But this should be enough to deal with you. I'm fairly certain of that. Yeah, especially with a juicy crit like that. Tiger, you do the honors. Everyone else, feel free to rush in. For a given value of rushing in. And remember, the password is Xolotl. How can I... Ah, of course. Still won't give me back my my other AP for now. But that's to be expected. We have to hurry. Now, before that... Thank you, Iger. Everyone else, get into position and let Blitz work his magic. This should be good. As always, the main thing is just to not die. Kaboom. This should be good. No, not erosion. Blaster. You have fun over there. You will hopefully burn down next turn. Not yet. But I do encourage you to come a little closer. Can I nail that shot? I can. Perfect. Let's keep at it. Ow. There was an ow in there. Let's just, yep, go in there. And start getting ready for a flanking maneuver. Might as well activate a Sundowner drone, just to accompany our links. Rest of you, get into positions and wait for my command. Yeah, the red cubes got hands, unfortunately. Which means motion 1, motion 2, motion 3. Hopefully you'll burn down quicker than that. Let's see, 1, 2, flanking maneuver. 1, 2, flanking maneuver. Oof. Okay, Iger Love, looks like you'll need to double back in there, just to treat Blitz, just in case. I do not like this development at all, and yet here we are. There's the welcoming committee. Let's send them our regards. Will the radius be good enough? It was good enough, but the damage was not good enough. We'll just wing it for now. And the final one. That was a miss. Can you shoot through the wall? Of course you cannot. That would have been silly. Iger, please patch Blitz up. Thank you. I hope we won't have to do that whole segment again, otherwise things will be somewhat unpleasant to look at. Change your position. Reload. Lob another one. You missed again. I do dislike when that happens. And yet, here we are. However, if you do crowd around that barrel a little bit closer, that would be optimal. You are supposed to be dead already. I said... Thank you kindly. We can at least open the lab blast door and perhaps check as to what was that other terminal. If those were just cameras, then this one should be data repository. And... okay, that's what I wanted to see. Shift. Get into position. Tiger, leg it. Now, to dissuade you from any other ideas. And I'd like to... come on! You miss on every last shot you take. That's gotta be a pattern. Yeah, 3 in a row. And all on the last AP. Weird, right? 1, 2... the suppression will require a full turn to cast, so just gotta keep at it. Heal yourself up a little bit. Too little too late, it seems. Black IC, huh? Can we burn you down before you burn us down? Hose damage. That's scary. That's legitimately scary. 1 bullet in the clip. Or rather, 1 mortar. Now, reload. Will you miss now? With a 50% chance. Of course you will. Chalk it down 4 times in a row. A bit of a miss, but nothing we cannot turn to our favor. Keep advancing. Rest of you, keep firing. Especially that fat-ass grenadier. One, 2, 3. Now, I expect you to at least slow him down a little bit. Of course, that machine's too much for that. There, facility operations records. That's what we needed. This data store contains records of all data pertaining to the facility's day-to-day operations. Scan the node for paid data. A cursory exploration of the data store turns up nothing of value. There are hundreds of log files, the majority of which contain spending and logistics reports. Guess we just gotta burn you down then. Just gotta make it right. Thank you for dying. Now we need to get out of here. This run has been enough of a disaster as is. Let's see. No, first Dietrich gets there, and then he casts Dragon Slayer Idol. Now, let's see how you'd like a grenade from this position. Almost. A for effort, F for execution. 1, 2, Reload. Now flank and shoot to kill. Okay, Blitz, you gotta leg it. And I should turn off all of my drones for now. I really gotta find me something that increases my AP. Anyone? Possibly. More turns before that. I hate when that happens, honestly. Hate deadlines in general, really. There's the biometric scanner. They're still out there, waiting for us. Careful, careful, do not stand too close to the barrels. 2 turns before the high threat response team arrives. This is making me patently uncomfortable, or at least anxious. It won't mean a game over, but it will be unpleasant. A maglock with a voice print recognition system has been affixed to this door. Nobody who hasn't already been logged into the system is going to be able to open this thing. Try speaking into it anyway, just in case. The screen background changes from blue to red. Access denied. I guess it needs to be me specifically. Okay, open up. Authorization, Ramjet Val. The screen background changes from blue to green. Access granted. You hear the sound of heavy machinery rumbling to life. A moment later, the locks on the door release. The door slides open, revealing a group of figures wearing green cloaks. The tallest of the figures stands just in front of you, a slight smile on his face. His eyes are full of intelligence and malice. Ah, at last our intruder arrives. You are a Shadowrunner, here on a job. This much is obvious. So tell me, who sent you here? Ask me again nicely. Such insolence, such hubris, so very, very foolish. You will answer my questions, Pest, whether you want to or not. His mouth twists into a cruel smile. In a single smooth motion, he pulls a knife from his belt and draws a long hit along his own forearm. The blade leaves a stripe of bright red blood in its wake. Still smiling, he begins to chant. Not too quick on a draw for this one, so just reach for my weapon. You reach for your weapon, but too slowly. Much too slowly. A horrible twisting sensation wrecks your guts and a blinding pain ignites behind your eyes. As you struggle to keep your footing, you hear grunts of pain from all around you. Your teammates doubling over in agony. The Blood Mage stands impassively, his lips slightly parted. A whispered chant spills from him, and every syllable is like another dagger in your stomach. Well, yes, it is blood magic. After all, what do you expect from an advanced technology blood mage? Your tongue feels strangely thick, and to your horror, it begins moving on its own accord. Crawling, probing, straining against the roof of your mouth, struggling for release. Somehow, on some instinctive level, you know that this sensation will only continue to get worse. And you know that speaking the truth is the only way to stop it. We are not an adept, nor do we have sufficient body strength, so give in and speak the truth. You unclench your jaw and the words begin to spill out of you. They come in a torrent, in a flood. You tell him about your job, about your client, about Amzel and Monica and Green Winters, everything. You retch out the truth and the pain begins to subside. Well, that was very enlightening. Thank you for your cooperation, Val. I'll be sure to tastefully memorialize you in my report. And the high threat response team is officially arriving next turn. This is gonna hurt. Ah. Come on now. Butterfingers. Anyway. Protective shielding. And you know what would be funny? Eat a voltaic grenade, just because you deserve it. You're epic like that. Reactivate my drones. Have a concussion grenade for good measure. Is the Steel Lynx drone gone? Looks like it is gone. Really wish I had a backup weapon. But we'll work with what we got. Or at least Lynx is currently just unresponsive. Maybe it just needs a bit of a fix-up. Let's go with haste on Eiger. And Eiger, I would like you to go to town on this particular mage. Kneecap him if you must. I will enjoy killing you, you know that? Hell, so will they. What else do we have? A smoke grenade. Reduces chance to hit by 15%. One, two, and 3. Almost. I can of course try and throw hands, but that is not the best course of action. Let's see, what will Max bring to the game? There's, of course, the taser. Which might not be the best idea right now. We'll just have to shoot them all. Ow. Sorry about that, Iger love. And me moving away was definitely not the best idea. I will get you, son of a bitch, even if you heal up. First of all, basic beam on a trauma kit. I am not dead yet. Reactivate all of my drones. Come on. There we go. Heal me up. Cannot. No wounds to heal. In that case, better aim on Iger. Renew the Dragon Slayer's idol. Almost. There we go. The bastard is dead. Now, if we can get rid of that guard, that would be swell. But something tells me we don't have enough damage to do that just yet. But with Max in play, anything is possible. If you apply yourself hard enough. If you can stop shooting me, that'd be swell. There's the high threat response team coming in. Who are you? And you ask me this just now. Not the best time for that, honestly. Yeah, what was that about the report? Must have been a posthumous report. Come on. Iger, if you can patch me up, that would be much appreciated. Thank you. Switching out to a sniper rifle is quicker than reloading. I just hope that the shot will land. Didn't do too much damage. So move up. Renew the Dragon Slayer idol. And the rest of our drones moves up as well. Can you land the crit? Of course you can't. Can you at least shock him? Thank you. I, however, do not appreciate you trying and failing to disable my drones. Let's see, Max, shift over here. Get the best shot on that one, of course. Which means Iger moves up over here. Deploy a smoke screen. And keep laying into them. What do we have over here? Hey, boss, I think that you should check this out. It might be important. Yeah, after the battle. All after the battle. Especially if we keep handing out crits like that. That'd be most impressive. Patch up Dietrich, thank you. And stay out of trouble for now. Move up. Keep laying into this one. Almost got him. Can you finish him? Can you do it? Thank you. Oh, there's the high threat response team. Okay, you can disable Max for now. Because I'd like you to use that repair kit to patch up Sundowner. However, for that, Sundowner, stand next to Blitz, thank you kindly. Much appreciated. Okay, gonna need to disable the Sundowner for a little bit. Now we just swing around here. I don't like these odds. But complaining about them will not change a thing. This terminal has been locked. There doesn't seem to be any way to unlock it from here, but it's connected to a number of other terminals in the room. In theory, a Decker could probably enter the lab's dedicated Matrix server and unlock the terminal from there, but doing so would almost certainly raise an alarm. Like we haven't done that already. Can you finish him off? Or the her off? That was definitely a feminine grunt. Now to deal with high threat response team. Blitz will need to be plugged in there. And hopefully without somebody trying to kill him. Hopefully. The rest of you, hold the line. That's right, get it closer. It will only make things easier. Okay, first of all, gotta unlock that door. Yep, east cell door. One, two, three. Always the rule of three. Always the rule of three. That's east cell door opened. This one's gonna be tight. Now, can you do that again? You surely can. Can you land the crit? You absolutely can. And if you can kill him, even better. Now let's open that other door. One, two, three. Okay, you there. What do you know? The man in the cell stares at you through red-trimmed eyes. His body is marked with obvious signs of mistreatment and neglect. He opens his mouth to speak, then closes it again and swallows hard. He tries again, and the voice that comes from him is tremulous and weak. You have killed the masters. You slaughtered them like lambs. How is that possible? Wasn't easy. For you. He continues to stare at you, bug-eyed and unblinking, his mouth agape. Me? I have no name. I have no need of one. But you killed the masters. It is our place to die, not theirs. Sorry to disappoint you. The slack-jawed man looks genuinely confused. Disappointment? No, it is not our place to feel such things. My brothers and I are grown here, gestated in tanks to serve our purpose. The masters will it to be so. Purpose? What purpose? What are you talking about? We are test subjects. Our purpose is to suffer and die. His voice is utterly matter-of-fact. If any of this bothers him, he doesn't show it. In so doing, we provide useful research data. It is what we were made for. What can you tell me about the Bloodline Project? The mages wake us from our slumber, sometimes in twos, sometimes more. One is taken to another part of the facility, the testing lab. The rest remain in their cells. The mages run their tests and the entire group dies. So the mages do something to one of you and the entire group feels the effects. Yes, they haven't chosen a subject from my group yet, but when they do, my death will come. I won't hear the chanting, I won't see the mage, but I will share it in the suffering, and I will die. And then another will be grown to take my place. Well, you won't have to worry about that anymore. The door's open, you can get out of here. His eyes go wide. It looks as though he's having difficulty processing what you've just told him. Out? But our purpose. From now on, your purpose is to do whatever the hell you want. Now get moving. Yes. Yes, we will run. All of us. Thank you. You say thank you, and yet you previously stated that you were lab-grown. Curious. Iger, continue laying on the hurt. Thank you. You're doing fine job. The rest of you keep staying in cover. And be on the lookout for any other such guests. Yeah, poor dude got his brain minced. Get the west cell door open. And the final cell door, which I'm guessing will be the northern one. And there is a portal to there. To another place. I suppose that one. Anyone in need of a heal up? Doesn't look like it. So the rest of us can just wait until the next batch of HRT comes in. He just... yeah, he bolted it out of there. They see the opportunity, and they leave. Can't fault them, honestly. One, two, and get the west cell door open. 3 karma for releasing all of the freeing all of the test subjects. Now you're catching in on the joke. It is a joke. But hopefully... what was that? Now, we just need to keep on shifting our approach. Anyone home? Doesn't look like it. There they are. And that's precisely why I moved in Eiger. Well, not precisely for that, but you get the idea. At least they won't touch the test subjects. Is this another sentry? So you know what? This warrants another special appearance from Exploder. Move in here and kaboom. Okay. Bloodline terminal access node. And seeing that it's in red, yep. There's still white ice. This'll wake them up. You, in the meantime, go forth and be my shield. The rest of you, get ready and geek the mage always. This is gonna hurt, possibly. You, brave little drone, be on the lookout for any hostiles from that direction, while Blitz keeps working his magic. First of all, suppression. Second of all, you disappoint me. One, two, three. Bloodline terminal access node open. Get out of here. We've overstayed our welcome long enough. Now, Iger, can you nail that one? Not from that angle, you won't. That was, however, welcome. Just need a little bit more time. And Dietrich is definitely healing himself up after that. And we're out of there. One more shot. Perfect. Okay, Blitz. Hopefully you can make it in time. I certainly hope so. There it is, the generator. The control panel blinks with a featureless command prompt. Disable the generator's safety overrides. Password was Xolotl. Warning, disengaging safety overrides while generators are in operation is not recommended. Do you want to proceed? Yes. Safety overrides disengaged. Overload the generators. The terminal processes your command. An instant later, a high-pitched screeching noise erupts from the generators. Tremors rock the facility, shaking the ground under your feet. Generator overload imminent. Please evacuate the facility. That's done it. Come on, Chief. Let's listen to the nice lady and get the hell out of here. Generator overload in 7 terms. Oh boy. We gotta leg it. I can't... Oh, there it is. Haste. Obviously this goes on Iger. We need everyone into position. That means I'm disabling you for now. Okay, Blitz, you do the honors. There's the test subjects. It looks like we're gonna need to jack in there as well. Boy, that'd be fun. Another locked door. Wonderful. Hopefully this one won't be too punishing. Otherwise, you know. But if it is, I'm going to be severely disappointed. In all of you. Me, most importantly. Okay, this one is gonna be tight. Kaboom? Yes, Rico, kaboom. I won't get tired of this joke. Not very soon. See over here, 1, 2, 3. Yep, this woke them up. Security access door overridden. Now leg it. Everyone get out of here. And there it goes. Kaboom. Gradually, the ringing in your ears clears and the world comes into focus. The generator overload did its job, but as Frau Müller said it would. The ATS technology facility has been reduced to a smoldering crater strewn with a chaotic jumble of cracked marble, melting plastic, and broken support beams. You can barely make out the faint wail of approaching sirens. They're still far away, but they won't be for long. Wow, Chief. That was intense. Nothing couldn't handle, of course, but this was a little more dramatic than I was expecting. We just leveled an ATS technology facility, Blitz. Intense barely begins to cover it. Yeah, I guess that's true. Blitz steps back, blinking. A sudden gust of wind kicks smoke and dust into the air. It's funny. I've heard lots of rumors about the Yazis over the years. Stories about making monsters and consorting with evil spirits, that sort of thing. I'd always assumed that they were urban legends at best or xenophobia at worst. Definitely not true, at any rate. Looks like I was wrong. The Yazis are boogeymen, just like the stories say. It's enough to make a man rethink some things. Do I have anything to worry about, Dietrich? Any chance that ATS Technology Corporate could use blood magic to track us? After an explosion like that? Nah, boss, not a chance. Anything we might have left behind, any blood or skin or hair, has been cooked right through. We'll be fine after we clear out of there. The approaching sirens grow louder. They're now accompanied by another sound, the whine of approaching rotorcraft. I can talk about this later. We don't want to be here when those response vehicles arrive. The test subjects that you liberated mill about aimlessly, blinking against the light. The foremost clone takes a half step forward. But what of us? We have no purpose now. This is not supposed to happen. This is wrong. Without our masters to guide us, what will we do? Whatever you want to. You're free now. You're not supposed to be anything. Find yourselves a new purpose and make it a good one. We will try. Come on, Val, let's get back home. Oh, and we didn't get the data on the project. I suppose that would have required a more subtle approach. But then again, you've seen those guards. They're very thorough, and honestly, I'm not sure how you're supposed to sneak past them. Well, you're supposed to just follow right behind them? Maybe. Maybe I will replay that segment at another point in time. For now, however, that chapter of the book remains closed. Memories of the explosion that toppled the Ets technology facility keep you company on your ride back to the Kreutz Bazaar. You barely managed to outrun the blast. Now the facility lies buried under thousands of kilograms of twisted rebar and reinforced concrete. No doubt a considerable blow to Ets Technology's activities here in Berlin. Mission successful. It is time to get paid. Yeah, as close to stealth as we'll get. And we've earned some karma on the sly as well. Just give it a moment. There. 12 karma. Gotta, of course, notify Luca that his task is complete. I loathe your presence, but you pay well. Talk to that exec. He'll fall in line after he gets his pants thoroughly dry cleaned. Excellent work. Perhaps you do have a future in this town. Here's your pay. Yeah, see you around. Now, considering Ets technology and their blood magic, I know a guy we can talk to. Oh, and of course, Absinthe. Val, a pleasure as always. What can I do for you? Looking to buy some magic? Then you'll want to talk to Algernon. He's just around the corner. Alright. Be well. I have a question for you, if you don't mind. What can you tell me about the adversary? The shamanic idol, you mean? An unusual request. Why do you wish to know? It's my teammate, Glory. She spent her youth as a member of an adversary cult. It was kind of a bad scene. Interesting. First, tell me what you already know. I will then do my best to fill in the gaps. Well, from what I've heard, the adversary is essentially a devil figure. Ah, I see. Very well, young dwarf. I will tell you what I know. The adversary is the totemic embodiment of rebellion. It is an anarchist and a usurper, a betrayer and a symbol of defiance. It is a proud idol, utterly sure of itself and its mission. The majority of its followers are arrogant and cruel. Not the most pleasant of people, truth be told. That said, the adversary can be interpreted in different ways, just as any idol or totem can. Some of its followers are worse than others. Yeah, I'm sure they're a charming bunch. You joke, but shamans of the adversary can be quite charming. They are confident to a fault, charismatic, and they flaunt their willingness to break cultural taboos. It isn't unusual for them to attract large crowds of followers. So I've heard, and they use their influence to ruin the poor sheep that flock to them. Some of them do, yes, but not all. As I said, there are different ways of interpreting the adversary's mission, and not all of them are malevolent. After all, rebellion can be a positive force if it is harnessed by the oppressed. That said, trusting the adversary would be a mistake. It is a treacherous idol, and all of its alliances are temporary. This is not a world of absolutes, young dwarf. I would not call the adversary evil any sooner than I would more conventional totem like shark or bear. All can be destructive, yes, and cruel, but none are intrinsically so. So the adversary isn't what I'd been told. The Christian tradition that much of Germany adheres to would argue that the adversary is Lucifer, yes, but many other traditions would disagree. You would do well to remember that you live in an oddity among Sixth World nations. Traditional religious iconography still permeates German culture. Is it any surprise that people here might lean towards viewing an idol like the adversary through a more traditional lens? No, I suppose not. Personally, I feel that calling the adversary a devil is an oversimplification of the truth. It is both more and less than Christian doctrine would have you believe. But this is a question for the philosophers. And now, young dwarf, I have a question for you. No, not a question. A request. I would like you to tell me about your friend's dealings with the adversary, and I would like you to be thorough. It's a long story, and as luck would have it, I have nothing but time. Alright then, strap in. Gotta get off here. Good luck and good night. I think I'm gonna be finishing up soon as well. After hearing your story, the talismonger leans back in silent contemplation. Well, considering your friend's upbringing, it is no surprise that she views the adversary as a devil figure. She is interpreting her experiences through the lens that she was given. That makes sense. The elf pauses, stroking his beard in quiet contemplation. The silence stretches for several seconds before he continues. I find this Harrow figure, the leader of your friend's old commune, to be deeply troubling. He is clearly a toxic shaman working in the service of his own warped view of the adversary. You say that he serves his own view of the adversary. Don't idols care what their followers do in their names? To an extent, yes. The adversary wouldn't abide one of its followers attempting to bolster the strength of an authority figure, for example. But idols and totems can exhibit a broad range of behaviors, and men such as Harrow hide in the extreme ends of that range. Technically, his interpretation of the adversary is the adversary, but only the worst aspects of it. What do you mean by toxic shaman? I'm unfamiliar with the term. In the magic community, a shaman is referred to as toxic when he twists his idol's principles in order to cause harm. Some toxic shamans are eco-terrorists protecting nature with deadly force. Others are essentially rabid, slavering things that hunt and kill with wild abandon. I don't believe that Harrow fits into either category. From what you've described, he genuinely venerates the adversary, or at least his own view of what the adversary should be, and he has been rewarded with power for that devotion. He will make a formidable enemy should you choose to face him. I agree with your assessment. Harrow sounds like bad news. Bad news. Yes, that's one way of putting it. Such men have been responsible for many terrible things in the awakened world, and they are not to be confronted lightly. I'll be careful. I trust that you will. Best of luck to you and your friend both. That is taken care of. Let's stop by our safe house and see if we've gathered enough money. Let's see, status of the Ellis Fund. 32,500. Anything new in Shadowlands? Kaboom! You felt that shake a few hours ago? Not an earthquake. As a facility went sky high downtown. Boom! Can't see the smoke from here. A friend of mine down there says it was a power spike that blew their generators. I doubt it. Only Shadowrunners have that sense of flair. You're kidding me. That huge one that sprung up 6 months ago? Place must have cost millions to build. If it was runners, I hope they get a major payday. No way I'd go anywhere near an Nazi facility without a trunk full of ammo and a mage watching my back. Honestly, the power spike version sounds more likely. I've walked past that facility and they have guards posted at the door 24/7, not to mention the automated turret systems backing them up. No way someone got paid to waltz through that scheisse. No way. So, dig this. Apparently there were some survivors wandering around the U-Bahn station near the blast site. Some Bumona folks approached them to see if they had accounts. One of them said that they had to keep running and they all took off down the tunnel. Well, sure. With a blast of that magnitude, they were probably all in shock. Found another post about a bunch of glassy-eyed people wandering around. It said that they were all wearing hospital gowns. The Bumona people must have hooked them up. They keep all kinds of medical gear in their rescue wagons. Maybe. Or maybe they were Azzy guinea pigs. Your continued assistance. Thank you for your service. As a sign of our appreciation, we have decided to reward you with a piece of biotech that one of our operatives acquired on a recent job. If you wish to take advantage of this, go see Dr. Esquibel. The implantation surgery has already been paid for, so there will be no cost to you. Thanks again for your help, and enjoy your new toy. Thank you, Shockwell and Writer. Claim payment for the Aztec Pharma cleanup job. Done. To Herr Fuchs to Val. An excellent job, Val. You're a credit to your profession, and I would not hesitate to hire you again. Your fee will be transferred to your account immediately. 15,000. Deductions for crew salary -4. Ammunition and resupply -1. Automatic deduction for LS funds -7.5. Remainder set to Ramjet Val's account. Payment transfer complete. And now adds technology sabotage run. Frau Müller to Val. If you're receiving this message, I have fled the country or am otherwise unavailable. Don't worry, you'll still be getting paid. I've made the appropriate preparations. In any case, Val, thank you for helping me. Please do not attempt to contact me again. As far as the world and my former employers are concerned, I am buried under a ton of rubble. It is best that I remain that way. Goodbye. Yvonne Jimenez, aka Frau Müller. Payment from client 36, deduction for crew salary -9.6, ammunition and resupply costs -2.4, automatic deduction to Alice funds -18. Payment transfer complete. That should be enough for the Alice fund. Transfer 5,000 to Alice's secured cred stick for payment. Account admin override password required. Current admin user Paul Amsel. Val, please speak with me when you're ready to proceed with Alice's payment. I have nothing new for you, Val, and we have no time to waste. You have Alice's money and we need that information. Get to the rabbit hole and hurry back. I must find Vauclair before the 5 Inc. finds it. I need your password to transfer Alice's payment onto a cred stick. Oh, yes, very good. Excellent, in fact. This has been a long time coming, Val. You're telling me. Alright, Val, before you make this transfer, there are a few things that you should know. Firstly, this is a one-way operation. Once the funds have been transferred to the cred stick, the only person who will be able to access them is Alice. As far as the team is concerned, the money will simply disappear. Well, it's not like we were planning on doing anything else with it anyway. Keep going. Secondly, once you make your way to the rabbit hole with the funds, it's go time. I trust that you understand what I mean by that. We drop everything and head straight to the rabbit hole. Correct. Once you left to see Alice, her information will be your only priority. No more distractions and no more side work. I will busy myself cancelling your remaining jobs and smoothing any ruffled feathers. Makes sense. Anything else? Just that you need to be sure about committing to this. Time is important. A great dragon once is dead, and that is not a thing to take lightly. But you shouldn't return to the rabbit hole until you're prepared to act. If you have any doubts, then I'd urge you to wait. I understand, and I'm ready to proceed. Excellent. The password is Folklingen. Once you are en route to the rabbit hole with the funds for Alice's payment, I will cancel the team's remaining obligations. Understood. I have to say, Val, this lifts an enormous weight off of my shoulders. When Monica brought you on board, I was initially unsure about you. I would never have said that to anyone else, of course, but I kept you under a watchful eye. I can see now that I needn't have doubted her judgment. She chose her successor well. Now please, go fetch the information from Alice. We're one step closer to surviving this mess. What was the password? Folklingen. The funds disappear from your account. Moments later, a message pops up on the screen. Transfer complete. Sitting in its dock on a keyboard, a green LED blooms to life on Alice's cred stick. The trigger has been pulled. The rabbit hole awaits. Before we go... Glory favors you with a weak smile, her expression cautious. You're suddenly aware of how very small she is. Hoi, Val. I've gotta admit, I've been dreading this. So, now that you know what I've done, what I am, are you here to tell me off? I wouldn't blame you if you were. No, Glory. I'm not here to tell you off. Truth be told, I wanted to check in and see how you were doing. Not great. Struggling. About how you'd expect. We left off in a bad place last time. I've been thinking about your story, and I have a question for you. Yeah? What's that? You've escaped from Harrow, but he's still out there. If you're looking to atone for your past, don't you think that shutting him down would be a good place to start? She holds her silence for a long time. Finally, she nods. Yes, I've been thinking about this for a long time, Val. And every time that I've gotten close to making a decision, I've turned and run away again. No more running. I'm ready to I'm ready to face this thing, but I can't do it alone. I'm going to need your help. That's the idea. Alright, if we're going to do this, we need to be clear on what our goal is. There are a lot of innocent people in that place. Lost street kids who get sucked in by Marta and the other girls like her. Saving them won't be easy, but it feels like the right thing to do. But then there's also Harrow to consider. I want that man dead. Lord knows he deserves it, and if we don't make killing him our top priority, he might get away from us. If that happens, if he runs, he'll eventually start up another cult somewhere else where we can't find him. And all of this will have been for nothing. We're likely to run into other complications as well. So I think that we need to make a decision here, up front. What would you do in my place? Rescue the kids, or take down Harrow? I don't think that we can manage both. Freeing the kids should be our first priority. We raid Feuerstelle, round up the runaways, and clear Harrow's influence from their minds. Killing him will have to be secondary. I hate giving Harrow the chance to escape, but you are right. Saving the kids is what's important. This feels like the path to redemption. This feels right. Glad to hear that we're in agreement. When you're ready to go, meet me at the van. It's a long drive from here to the Schönbuch. Right. I'll get my things. Oh, and thanks, Val. For everything. That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. Maybe you'll accompany me for now, Dante. However, looking at the time, I think this is where we'll need to end it for tonight. We got us a lot of karma to spare. And hopefully, we'll be able to put it to good use next time. Right now, however... Right now, we are living in a precarious place. First things first, come next week, we'll of course be dealing with Glory's personal quest. And after that, it's on to the continuation of the main plot. This will be tight. I never say it often, but things are bound to get hectic from that point on. I have a feeling. For right now, however, I'd like to thank you all for attending. Hopefully you've enjoyed it live or will in the VODs. For tonight, thank you, and until next time, peace out.